How to take the right decision. This is something which bothers everyone, even me. And I used to retrospect, how should we take the right decision? Let's understand first what is actually, inverted commas, the right decision. When we say the right decision, we have a feeling that if we do this thing, or we act in such a way, or we take this decision, everything will be normal. It will be accepted by everyone. And if we take the other decision, it might cause disaster, or people may not like this decision. But in actuality, whatever decision you take, there will be some who will be pro and there will be some who will be against. So it's not the question of whether the decision which we take is acceptable or not. If we introspect further, it is whether the consequences of the decision which we take, are we ready to accept it? Because every decision will have a plus point or a minus point. And we are not confident enough to face the consequences of our decisions. So whenever we have to take a decision, we are actually in doldrums that, okay, this is good, but if I do this, this will happen, and am I ready to bear the consequences? So how to be ready to bear the consequences of your decisions? Because let me tell you one thing which I have realized, any decision is taken by us and us only. It is never someone else taking the decision for us. Yes, if the decision is wrong, we try to blame, oh, my parents forced me to do it, the society forced me to do it, my friends forced me to do it, everyone was doing it, so I did it. If you see the common factor in all this, I did it. No one can force any decision on anyone. Even a child who's born, you can force the food inside his or her mouth. But it is his or her decision to take it or spill it out. Are you getting my point? Even you cannot force feed a newly born child, except you can inject. And even when you inject, if the body doesn't accept that, it will get out through sweat, through urination, or through excretion. As simple as that. We cannot force anyone to do anything. It is our logical mind which is actually convincing us to do this thing under pressure, under love, under consideration, under dominance, under submission, whatever it is. It is we who take the decision, because as a conscious being, no one can force any experiences on us. It is we who choose the experiences. So obviously, we are the ones who have to bear the consequences, which is said law of karma. जो तुम करोगे, जो तुम सोचोगे, वो तुम्हारे साथ हो जाएगा. It's perfectly okay. So now coming back to the point, what is the right decision? Now, there is nothing called right or wrong. How can you say this is right and this is wrong? Because it's a perspective. It is said that there are three truths. One is my truth. One is your truth. And one is the universal truth, which we don't know. So it is my truth fighting against your truth. And everyone believes in his or her truth depending upon the experiences which he or she has got. And that is why we have cultural differences. That is why we have religious differences. That is why we have social differences. Difference of opinions are there. Just because we have been preconditioned with certain ideas of how to live life. So, whatever we think is right or wrong is actually our own perspective. What is the universal truth then? The universal truth is something which everyone knows. But we are not ready to accept that. And that universal truth is always inside you. For example, whenever I ask somebody, okay, what decision have you taken? They say, no, I'm not able to take a decision. Now, when someone says, I'm not able to take a decision, and as we have already heard, that we are the one who take decisions. So who is the person who is confronting him or her to take the decision? It's you yourself. So which means there is a dvandvyud, there is a dual fight between you and your soul. When we say, I talk to myself, and it's said that there can be no communication by one person. So there has to be someone who's talking, someone who's listening. So when we say, I was talking to myself, obviously there is someone who's listening also, no? So who's that? So every person has got two people inside. One is your ego, which is the external body, the external feeling, the external emotions, the external attachment. And one is your soul, which is totally detached. The body is perishable. The consciousness, the soul, is non-perishable. The consciousness, the soul is connected to the source, so it will always be at peace. There is nothing wrong there, nothing right there. It's all about experiences. As in my previous videos, I've shared with you that we are all experiential beings who have taken body as a device to experience. So there is nothing called right or wrong. It's all about experiences. Now, when your soul is wanting to experience something, but your body wants to experience something else. Like for example, if somebody is addicted and his body wants it, his body will always say, for example, a smoker, if you go to a smoker, every time he will say, one day I want to leave smoking. Why? Why do you want to leave smoking? Who told you to leave smoking? He says, I want to leave smoking because every time when he smokes, his soul is pinching and saying, hey, leave smoking. It's not good for you. And every time the body is giving all logical definition, nothing is happening right with me, I don't want to live. Why this? Okay, it's only these few moments when I puff my cigarette, that's when I find peace. You don't want me to have peace? So there is a dvandvyud, there's a dual fight between. So whenever you say, I am not able to take the right decision, which means there is someone who's telling you this is the right decision, and there is someone who's giving logical explanation depending upon their ideas and experiences and bringing up. So, how to take the right decision? Well, first of all, point number one, there is nothing called right or wrong decision. Whatever decision you take, you experience that because it's the body which is experiencing it. So, be ready for that because anyway, when a person comes into this earth, he has to spend 70 to 80 years minimum. And in those 70 to 80 years, he has to carry some experiences. So whichever decision you take, you have to experience that. So take it as a movie. And yes, so first and foremost, never blame anybody or never say that this is the right decision or the wrong decision. Any decision is just a decision. So that takes away the pressure from you, the pressure of taking the right decision. Fine. Now, coming back to taking decision, we change this question from how to take a right decision to how to take a decision. So now see the pressure is released. Now, how to take a decision? It is said it's a very humorous. I'll say humorous talk. It's not talk. It's a joke sort of. They say कि whenever you are in doldrums, toss the coin and say heads I do this and tails I do this. So you don't toss the coin to actually check whether heads comes or tails comes. It is said that the moment you toss the coin, what is your heart expecting? Heads or tails? So irrespective of whether it comes heads or tails, it's tails which you actually want to experience. So your heart has told you, this is what you have to experience. So now you know that this is what I want to experience. But what is stopping you from taking that decision? Because every decision has got a consequence. And you are not ready for the consequence. Now, how to overcome that fear of consequence? See, what is fear of consequence? Fear of consequence is you think that it will happen this way, this way, this way, and it may not be acceptable. Now, this is again perspective. How do you know it will happen that this way or this way or this way? Because you have been brought up with certain ideas and this is how you feel it will happen. It may not happen. So this is where you have to think that you are actually not the Karta. The Karta is the universe. You are just watching a movie. Watch it. Enjoy it. Or enjoy all the parameters. So whenever you are taking the decision which is sinking in your soul, disconnect yourself from the attachments. That is what are called कि मोह माया से दूर रहना चाहिए. You have to give a detached feeling. Leave something for the universe to do it. You'll be surprised. You will be so happy you did it. Actually, I tell you, in my life, I've taken so many decisions. And I am a firm believer of do what your heart says. Heart in the sense, not your mind, your inner soul. What is coming? I have taken so bad decisions in my life, which people thought were bad decisions in my life. But those were the decisions which I took from my inner soul. And I'm so happy because it turned out in a very beautiful way. Trust me, universe is on your side. Universe is not against you. So whenever you think that, okay, this is what I want to do, make your firm mind and take a step forward. It is said, faith is jumping from the cliff, knowing that either you will be given a land to fall on, a ground to fall on, or you will be taught how to fly. And in both the cases, you will not be let to die. So, the only way to take a decision is trust the universe. If you see in all my talks, in all my videos, in all my law of attraction, the basic backbone, the basic thread is trusting the universe. Trusting that there is someone who's taking care of you. And that someone may not be a physical form. Now it's your wish. You can call it Krishna, you can call it Allah, you can call it Mata, you can call it whatever you want to call it. It is the form and the formless. That is protecting you. Trust that. And you will find that even the wrong decisions which you thought will be the right decisions. Let me share again an example from my life which will make you understand that how making a decision which is your soul calling, which comes inside you, it creates wonders in your life. This is somewhere 2016. 2016, almost our company was going in a very bad shape. And there were 4 people who were promoting it. I was on the sales side and there were 3 others. And 2016, we suffered a big loss. Such a huge loss that almost everyone lost interest in the company. And this was my 3rd attempt to do something. And I said, how many times am I going to fail? I had already failed in my last 2 ventures, and this was almost as if it was my venture. Everyone, it was like even salaries, giving salaries it was told that no one will get salaries after March. You have to arrange for your own salaries. And at that very time, I got an offer from another company, which was rising and which had a big financial backing. I just went there and gave an interview just to, feel good factor. And they selected me, and the package was almost double what I was getting in Amosta. Almost double. And mind you, in Amosta, there was I wasn't even getting what I was promised. It was much below than that, because it almost what below. It was said that manage your own salaries because companies companies in bad shape. We are winding up. And I sat down and said, Arun, that you have got 2 choices. Choice number 1. There's a company with a good financial backing and they are ready to pay you double. And you are sitting in Amosta, which is a sinking ship. Forget about your salary. You won't even get your expenses. So there was a decision to be taken, 0 or hero. Then I started retrospecting. I started talking to myself and said, Arun, what is it that you want? Do you want money, or do you want the experience of creating an empire, creating something? Yes, obviously you will be creating not from 0, you will be creating from a negative debt. There was a debt, negative. You will be creating something from negative, and mind you, everyone else has left. You are on your own. You have to do it. It's a big challenge. And again, as you age, you stop taking risks. So this was the biggest risk for me. What if nothing works? What if nothing works and you are again in debts and you lost that job also, because that job won't wait for you? I took a decision. No, I want to experience this, even if it means struggling again, even if it means I am okay with the consequences. What will be the consequences? I'll be finding a job after 6 months or 1 year or 2 years. It's okay. I accept it. I'm happy with it. I don't want that job. And I didn't go. And the story started from 2016. Yes, we struggled. I know for the last 3 years, we have been going up and down, but we kept moving with the thing that yes, universe is on our side, universe is there, we will make it. And friends, 2019 December, we have grown exponentially, and We dream of creating a big, huge empire in 2020. No money could give me this 3 years or 4 years of experience. In the last 3 to 4 years, they have been my most wonderful years of my life. Without money. So money can't give you happiness. No one can buy that experience. I'm so happy with it, and I'm so happy I took that decision. I don't have any regrets of not taking that job or any other job. And let me tell you, the company which I was talking about closed down after 4 months. And many of my friends who are working there haven't got their salaries for those 4 months as well. They're still fighting the case. It's 3 years down the line. They're still fighting the case for their salaries. What's the point of this story? The point of this story is, who could predict? If I rewind back and sit again in that seat, at that time I was thinking that okay, अमोस्ता इसको कैसे करेंगे? टूट गया तो क्या होगा? Everything negative. Everything was negative in that decision. Everything was negative in that decision. If I had taken advice from my friends, how many of my friends would have said, "No, go on with Amosta. Why are you going for that job?" No, none of them. I know. Even if I had consulted 100 people, 100 out of 100 would have said, "You are the biggest fool of taking the risk at this age. Don't do it. Settle down, have a good job." This entrepreneurship bhoot उतार दो अपने दिमाग से. This is the advice which I would have got. And this was what my logical brain was also telling me to do it. But my creative mind was saying, you're not made for that. Even if it's a big risk, it's a big risk. I took that risk. So friends, trust there is someone who's going to take care of you. Don't worry. Take the decision where you feel happy, irrespective of monetary gains, irrespective of finances, irrespective of challenges, irrespective of social pressures, irrespective of peer pressures, irrespective of anybody saying what they want you to do. Because ultimately, even if you do what they said, you have to bear. It is said, whether you do a love marriage or arranged marriage, ultimately, you both have to suffer or create a great family. So it's you who is the most important person, not the society, not the friends, neither anyone. So you choose wisely, choose consciously, choose something which makes you feel happy. I'm not talking pleasure. There's a difference between pleasure and happiness. Happiness is inside your soul. Pleasure is outside. If you drink, you are in pleasure mood. All this enjoyment, external enjoyment, they only give you pleasure. So I'm not talking about pleasure. Pleasure is a distraction. Happiness is sleeping peacefully. When you sleep with a smile. And that's what's happiness, irrespective of any external circumstances. So friends, choose consciously and don't be afraid of the consequences. You will be either given a ground to land upon, or you will be taught how to fly. But in neither of the cases, you will be let to die. Thank you so much. We'll be coming with more videos, audios for you. Please subscribe and like and comment. Have a great, happy new year.